All right, hello everybody. We have a bit of a technical mishap there, but we are now back and we are jumping right into the draft of this solo duo match for our tournament. Is anything coming through on the pro draft for you?
No, I don't see anything yet. Doesn't look like we've started.
Hmm. I think we're gonna restart draft. I think that's what's about to happen.
Are you restarting draft now, Ben? Are they?
Yeah, they are.
While we're waiting for them to start draft, shall we talk about the inspiration for these team names?
Um. Well, there's so much to discuss. Where should we begin?
I think we start with how you like that. We're presumably that must be Jeff's team, right?
Yes, of
If
course.
you if you've ever been in our Discord, you hear him singing it 24/7, and he'll pop into your Discord and give you a song any time of day. And guts comes from, I believe, Chris Schre. He and Jeff duke it out with that word.
They sure do. I think if you were to go to the Discord channel and look at the bots channel, I think you would see quite a bit of how you like that, and that's all you really need to know to understand this team name. As it's quite complex.
So how you like that has Hensoku, GM Tony, Spection, Bitnari, and Kuga Turnori, while Gut has Void Owl, Owangatang, Vulps, Archer Boy, and Astino the Great. I haven't actually played with most of these players, but it seems like a very interesting matchup. How you like that seems a little bit more, um, I guess, flat across ranks, while Gut kind of reminds me of my own team, where we have Grandmaster Thomas. In the same team, in the same vein, we have Master Lance. So we'll see how the two teams can take advantage of that in the game. Have
Right.
they started? Have they started the draft? Yes, they
Yes, they
have.
have. We're flying through these first bands as this. I believe this is the third time this draft has gone through due to our technical difficulties. We're seeing the Yasuo ban. I suppose that's respect for Lance for Void Owl. Know that he plays a lot of Yasuo.
Yeah, the Nunu band looks like it's for Audrey. Audrey is a one-trick Nunu. Her Nunu is quite good. I know she's been learning Rammus and possibly Evelyn, but I guess we'll see what she plays here.
And I believe that was a Zed ban, that plan that appears blank at this point, um, to match the Yasuo. We are getting confirmation it is indeed a Zed ban. So the Zed and the Yasuo going the way of Void Owl there, limiting presumably his solo carry potential there. But I'm sure he'll have plenty of tricks up his sleeve. We see three jungle bans on the side of Guts here, looking to really pinch that champion pool. Kha'Zix, Evelyn, and Lilia, all strong junglers right now. And we see the Ezreal locked in for Kuga Terranori. We know that he's been labbing out that champion, despite not being an AD carry by trade and solo queue. Is an Ezreal player and somewhat of a Jhin player, and it's no surprise to see that prioritized here.
Right. The Evelynn and Lilia ban on red side surprised me because I think Audrey plays those two junglers as well, so
I see.
limiting her champion pool even more.
Right, it'll be interesting to see what junglers, come out here. Of course, the Graves is still
Right.
open, among other junglers. The Yuumi being prioritized here. It does seem that Yuumi is getting a lot of priority in this tournament. I think the Yuumi has been in quite a few lanes so far.
Mhm.
This is our fourth match now. I think the Yuumi has been seen in at least three of them. I wonder what the cause of that is, but if we're going to see more going forward. The Jin hover here is interesting. I don't think Jin Yuumi is traditionally a strong
Looks
lane,
like a
but that will be locked in.
looks like a pick for Archer Boy. Looks like a pick for Archer Boy. Um,
It does appear that way. The Echo hover, of course, another one of Void Owl's strong mid lane champions. I know that he has posted many Echo replay in the Discord channels. Always proud of his playmaking potential on that champion. It'll be exciting to see what he can do on that.
I think it'll be interesting to see what they pick going into the Echo. Their Lance's mid lane probably being the strongest of that team.
Right, for sure. I imagine that we'll see a lot of playing around the mid lane here from team How You Like Dat, and that name will never get it'll never get old. I don't think. The Nautilus here rounding out the bot lane, so we'll see Jin Yumi versus Ezreal Nautilus. The Nautilus is likely a response to the Yumi. If you're a Jin, you're scared of those dredge lines, and it will likely create some priority for Team How You Like Dat. An interesting
Definitely.
Rammus lock-in here. I'm not sure if that's a response to the pinch jungle pool or if that's a signature champ or what. Um,
I think that's a comfort pick for Audrey,
it's a
seeing
comfort
as
pick.
most of her jungles are banned. So looks like Audrey really likes champs that roll.
It does appear that way. We see a Graves ban, so more pressure being put on the jungle pool here. It seems that the red team has opted for the strategy of snagging their jungler in the first round and wiping out all of the other jungles in the second phase. Could you remind me who is the jungler for Team How You Like Dat?
So Hensoku appears to be the jungle. So he does main Kha'Zix and plays quite a bit of Lilia. So yes, it does appear that these are target bans towards Hensoku.
I see. We're seeing a Poppy ban. Looks like some bans being thrown top lane.
Yeah, Ostino the Great has a lot of games played on Poppy.
So so it seems to be some comfort bans again. Another jungler ban. If I'm a jungler here, I'm probably looking for, I suppose, some tank junglers. A lot of the carries have been removed here. I don't suspect that we'll see something like a Lee Sin or a cheeky pick like that. Maybe we'll see a Jarvan 4 that's open, a Sejuani. I don't. That Nasus will be the last ban to round that out. So,
Looks like another top ban.
right. One thing to note about the Rammus here is that it's not like he doesn't have any substantial AP threats to go up against. So, um, the Rammus might not be seeing as much strength as they might see in a traditional solo queue counterpick type situation. The Sylas appears to be the answer to the Echo here. I'm not familiar with that matchup, but it is two melee AP fighters in the mid lane, unless that Sylas flexes top, which of course it could. The Lux and the Wukong are quick response, with the Echo. What do you make of this draft? Where are these champions going?
It looks like, honestly, it could go any way. The size could be top or they could be mid. I think I'm getting a little bit of delay on the draft than you, Ben. I don't quite see Guts' fifth pick yet.
I see. And the Guts pits the gut. Oh my gosh, the Guts pick Ornn for their final champion, opting for that last of the top lane tanks available.
So
So
it looks like Ornn is picked top for Ostino the Great. I've seen him play a couple of Ornn games. So it looks like the size is going mid into the Echo and Lux support. No.
it's possible we see a Nautilus top lane here. That could have been a secret flex. I don't know if that's the case. It's been ages since we've seen a Nautilus top lane. I think the last time was the double Dorons meta, and I don't think we've
Right.
seen much of him there since.
And
But
if the lane matchups are the way I think they are, Spection does play quite a bit of Lux. So it could be that you're right that Lux is going mid and not could be going top.
That very well could be the case. We could also see, yeah, that does. I think that is the most likely. We'll see here. We'll get confirmation in a bit when the picks roll through on the client as the teams pick their champions for real in the custom tournament game. So we'll get more confirmation of that in a moment. What are your thoughts on of the strength of these two teams going forward? What are your initial impressions on the draft?
I think looking at the team compositions, I think it looks like the gut team is going to play pretty heavily around mid, where Void Owl appears to be playing. I believe like, is that a Silas mid? I think.
Yes, that should be a Silas mid. Actually, yeah, Silas mid.
Right. So I think Silas mid going into must be a Lux Ezreal bot lane for how you like that. And
Yes.
Echo mid lane, Nautilus top, and a Wukong jungle. That's my speculation.
Okay, so it looks like by the client that at least we'll have the Wukong in the top lane. That's
Yeah.
how good they are at flexing these teams are. We can't get a read on what exactly they're doing. Um,
I'm
so
pretty confused by, these picks and what lane each individual is going, but I think how you like that has a pretty strong just overall team, and it looks like their jungle is a significantly higher rank than Orangutan, who's playing Rammus. So it'll be interesting to see how their junglers rotate and get jungle objective control.
right, so we will see Echo in the jungle, Lux in the mid lane, Nautilus at support. So we were off. We were quite off. Oh, I'm getting word that you were quiet. I'm going to turn you up. Sorry, Yvonne.
I'm not sure if you want me quiet loud. I tend to give pretty anxious reactions. So is this better?
I turned you up on my end. Hopefully that does a better job of getting your words heard. I will ask chat.
Want me to wait while you go get them?
One thing that I think is an interesting takeaway from this draft is it's unclear, I think, where the Yumi wants to go post lane phase. Usually, when you pick Yumi, um, you hope to put that Yumi on a strong melee carry. Of course, the Silas is there. The speed ups and the heals from the Zoomies are going to be key in keeping that Silas even more topped off. Um, Not necessarily what you would see for a pairing with Yumi, but I'm sure quite strong and in the hands of a Masters player. I'm sure you're not too unhappy with that way that went.
Right. And I think looking at how you like that, I'm not too familiar with the champs on Guts team, but it looks like how you like that has a pretty strong CC team fight with the Wukong and Nautilus ult.
Right. Yeah. No, there will be plenty of artillery over the top with the final spark and the Ezreal ultimate. So I think both teams have quite a strong team fight. I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of split push action necessarily, though I suppose that team how you like that has some tools for that as well. But I suspect to see some bloody team fights.
Definitely. I'm actually pretty interested to see how bot lane on how you like that's going to fare. I know Jeff doesn't really main ADC, but I want to see how he does against his arch nemesis, Chris Gut. I think that'll be a really interesting matchup to watch.
For sure. Um, let's see. We're now entering spectator delay, so in just 3 minutes we will jump into the game and we'll get to see how this game will pan out. This, of course, is the first round of the round robin. How this tournament works is we have 8 teams, and we have a full single match round robin between those 8 teams, which seeds into a final knockout bracket. So there's not necessarily a lot of line not on the line in this match, but it does help us a great deal in determining how this tournament how it will shake out, and what kind of picks to look for as the meta develops itself here.
Yeah, Ben, let me ask you a question. I know you're a support main, so you might have a little bit more insight on this. What do you think early lane phase is going to look like for that Yumi Jin versus Ezreal Lux?
So my gut is that Yumi Jin is not
Haha.
a very strong lane. especially against Nautilus. I think Nautilus has generally shown to be the strong go-to Yumi counter with the reliable dredge line engage uh, on on the Jin, who will not have anyone to body block or anyone to pressure from a flank or something like that. So I suspect that we'll see the Ezreal and the Nautilus zoning off the Jin Yumi if all things play out uh, how they would ideally on paper. Though, of course, the Jin does have tools to sustain through that lane, and Jin is no slouch in lane either. It's just a matter of avoiding those hooks and staying in safety while topped off with those Yumi Zumis.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near those dredge lines.
Not at all.
And how many minutes are we into the delay?
Just 50 seconds are remaining. So I know there's been quite a bit of delay getting into this game with the technical difficulties. For context, the first time we were running this stream, my cat actually jumped onto my computer and pressed the power button. So if anyone's mad at me, I'm sorry, but we're into it now.
We can't be mad at a cat.
True.
Too cute.
Exactly.
Do you think
Exactly.
there's going to be an early? I haven't really seen many invades in our past couple of games. Do you think there's going to be an invade this game?
If
You
there
have a
were
Lux and a Nautilus, and how you like
right,
that?
a Lux and a Nautilus does lend itself well to a strong engage. You're right in that we've seen most teams play it safe, either with a 5-man spread guarding the entrances or just stacking in a single bush. We haven't necessarily seen those aggressive early invades, and I think this would be a good opportunity too for a team how you like that. You're not going to get a much stronger level 1.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
So we're now moving into the loading screen. I will go ahead and switch scenes and start streaming to the Discord channel. And we should be good to go here. Just checking to see if there are any notable rune choices here. I believe everything seems standard. Echo Jungle isn't something we've seen in a while, though Dark Harvest is the go-to there. Summoner spells, pretty standard. There's a teleport advantage for Team Guts in the mid lane on Void Owl there. So if those early trades turn out well, you could have a quick 4-man, 5-man bot with those teleport entrances.
Right, that's something the other team's going to have to watch out for.
I'm getting word that the stream is blank. This is a problem.
Your stream on Discord is also a little blurry.
Oh my goodness. 1 second.
We do see how you like that team roaming into the river.
All right, and we are back. Oh my, oh my. So what did chat miss? Would you care to indulge us, Yvonne?
I was a little preoccupied by the black screen as well, but it looks like how you like that attempted to invade the river and red side's blue buff. But
Right.
it looks like red side has gotten out and they've returned back to their red buff.
Right. This does spell bad news for Guts bot lane because the Jhin did have to blow the flash to dodge the Nautilus hook. Not respecting the strong early invade as we said from Team How You Like That. So the Jhin and the Yumi, who we already expected to see a disadvantage in the early levels of this bot lane, are entering level 1 with yet another disadvantage. Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty scary in that lane without a flash to get you out of that dredge line.
Right. We will have to see how they can adapt and how they can make up that difference. Both junglers here starting bot side, so perhaps we will see an early confrontation at the top lane scuttle. Though it does appear that Hensoku is pathing to the Tribrush here, perhaps to get a level 2 invade, or it does appear that it will be a level 2 gank on the flashless Jhin. Let's see what they can do with it. The parallel convergence comes down, the Nautilus passive roots the Jhin, flashless, the ignite drops, and that will be an easy first blood going over to Team How You Like That's jungler.
Yeah, that's a great advantage for, the bot. We were talking about how the blue side has already had a pretty big advantage with that.
Right,
It looks like the Jin's gonna be even further behind now.
I gotta give props to Team How You Liked It for identifying that weakness in the bottom lane and really capitalizing. Calling the Echo down to gank was definitely the right call here, and we see it paying off in dividends.
Paying off in dividends. Are you an econ major, Ben?
I'm not an econ major. It's just a phrase, but I'm not an econ major. Are you an econ major?
I am an econ major.
Interesting. We do see the the Rammus pathing towards the mid lane here. Will be spotted out as we see the blue pings playing down, but the Lux will flash away. Sadly, none of this is getting captured on directed camo as we see another trade going down in the bot lane. So, to recap, we had a strong 2v2 lane trade here as the Yuumi drops both the Summoner Ignite and Exhaust. The Rammus ganked to the mid lane, the Lux, and Lux had to burn her flash there.
Looks like a good engage for Ornn up top.
Yeah, so a lot of the early trades going here, the way of the Ornn. I'm not sure how that matchup traditionally goes, but it does appear that... Ooh, and the dredge line goes just wide, and the Jin W does not land, though the Nautilus steps on a trap on the way out and will take a strong chunk of health there.
Wow, the Yuumi sustain is honestly insane. We see Jin almost back at full health.
Right, and we see the Rammus Powerball here to contest the early Scuttle Crab. We'll have to see if there's a Smite Fight. The taunt lands on the Echo, the flash blown from the Rammus, and the Scuttle Crab will go the way of Team Guts, as Hansoku is forced to escape, but the Lux Binding will snag the remaining members of Team Gut on their way out, and no lives will be lost. The Scuttle Crab, of course, the main objective, the most important objective, going the way of Team Gut.
Did we see a Rammus flash there?
We did see a Rammus flash. It did come at a price. You were right about that. It seems that the bot lane for Team Guts, the Jin Yuumi, is starting to find more pressure, or perhaps I've spoken too soon.
No, I think Chris has quite the mastery bot lane. He's doing really good avoiding a lot of skill shots and finding really good trades for him and Yuumi.
Right. So there is about a one wave CS deficit that is worth mentioning. As this wave edges closer to the blue team outer tower. We see the Echo hovering the blue side bot lane just in case red team makes any moves to try to dive this low resource Ezreal, being low on mana, being low on health. Another Nautilus engage going wide, and the Jin W will force the heal out of Kuga Terranori. Another summoner blown. Again, Rammus looks to get another Powerball gank here, seeing as the Lux's flash is still down, but the Lux spots it out and safely backs away. Void Owl goes forward for the level 6 engage. Steals the final spark, but it goes wide. And now Manaless will likely shove out this wave and reset. It seems that Void Owl was looking to capitalize on the level 6 advantage there. I say that as the Wukong goes in for the Cyclone, and the Parallel Convergence is coming in to try to kill this Ornn, but the Ornn just walks it out without ever finding himself in too much danger.
Looks like Lux is pretty low on mana. It's going to back soon as well.
Right, it is about that time for resets. And here comes the Rammus ganking Kuga Terranori in the bot lane. The Powerball and the taunt lands. The teleport, like we said, comes bottom lane. Excellent use of the teleport from Void Owl to teleport off of that first recall. Hextech Revolver proc to pick up a clean double kill here in the bot lane. It does... one thing to mention here is that neither bot lane from Team How You Liked That found an opportunity to flash. Perhaps there wasn't an opportunity, but they do hold on to those summoners. for whatever trade they may need it next.
Definitely. Looks like Team Gut is playing around bot really well, despite the early advantage that the Nautilus and Ezreal had with the first blood.
Right. They're pulling this lane back in part due to Void Owl's global assistance. We mentioned earlier about how there was a teleport advantage for the red side here since Bitnari opted for the barrier. And they're making great use of that advantage here. We do also see red team moving towards the Earth Dragon and snagging that with that bot lane pressure that they achieved through that roam. So that teleport really paying off here as they make some advantages in the early game.
And Silas returns the lane with a 1 kill advantage over the Lux.
Right, at long last returns to the lane. The Ram is making additional moves, but I think they bit off more than they can chew as the kill goes over to the Nautilus. And the Nautilus here wants more, going in and rooting the Jhin. The Riptide slowing down, the unattached Yuumi, the ult following. And summoners are flying everywhere as we see a teleport coming into the Tri-Brush. This is looking to be a game-defining team fight. The Call of the Forge God finds 2 onto the blue team. The Twisting Cyclone finds another. And deaths are flying everywhere. The final spark over the top from both the Sylas and the Lux as more kills fall over to the side of Team Gut. Oh like man, that was a doozy. What was the final count there?
I have no idea. You know, so many people fell and died so quickly. It looks like there were really good teleports by both Wukong and the Ornn.
Right, I mean, that skirmish started with the Rammus finding himself in trouble at the Tri-Brush.
And we're seeing a lot of early game team fights down in that bot river.
Right. And the only substantial advantage really being that Earth Dragon so far. The gold deficit sits at about 200 gold, so despite all of that action, the game remains at a pretty stable state. And even if you go down the line in terms of lane, there isn't a major discrepancy since both top laners managed to pick up 2 kills and sit at a 150 gold bounty. I suppose the only advantage you could really draw is in the mid lane, but even there's a substantial CS deficit in the favor of the Lux. And as I say that, we have a small trade over that Vision Ward. It doesn't seem that Void Owl wanted to give up his pink ward just that easily, and it will stand for a little while longer.
Looks like Rammus is hovering topside river. Is she going for Scuttle?
Yeah, the Rammus seem to have picked up that top lane Scuttle Crab and is looking for another gank onto the Lux. Now flashless, but the power ball is interrupted by the minions. Still though, the taunt lands on the Lux, followed by the Sylas, and the Sylas burst will finish the Lux off no problem.
I was a little worried about that gank. Sylas started off, pretty far behind in lane when Rammus went in, but it looks like it was a successful gank.
Right, Team Gut did an excellent job of layering the CC there. Even though the power ball got interrupted on the minions, which is, something you usually hate to see, the taunt still lands, and that sets up for a great Sylas route. And we see another bloody trade going on down here. It would look to be a promising trade for the red team. It seems to have turned disastrous as the Yuumi falls off, peels off the Jhin. But here comes...
Looks like Nautilus is going for the Jhin. Body
and the interesting interaction there. I don't know what to say. The curtain call, awfully close to the Nautilus there, and Kuga Teranari does a good job of dodging those bullets, and the Nautilus just walks up, smacks him with an anchor, and collects his free gold. Right, yeah, I gotta say that trade seemed promising at first for the Team Gut bot lane, but once that Yuumi was vulnerable, got caught by the Nautilus ultimate and hook, it was all over for them.
Yeah, I think that counter engage by Nautilus really turned the tides in the fight. You see another engage down mid and top.
Right, a lot of frequent trades here as 3 of the 4 champions are melee, so will be a lot more to come of that. It does appear, though, that Void Owl is starting to get an upper hand in these trades with those 3 kills, now completed the GLP. Oh, and Vulpes has found himself in an unfortunate scenario. The final spark comes all the way from mid lane. And that will be a 1-for-1 as Bitnari falls and Vulpes falls. But here comes the reinforcements from Team Gut. Some minor engagements on both sides there, but no big findings for either team. All right, so I think it's a good time to step back and take stock of what we've seen in the game. So far, we're sitting at about a 1,000 gold lead, so nothing too major for the way of Team How You Like Dat. Of course, they're down 1 Earth Drake. People like to say that a dragon is worth somewhere in the ballpark of 500 gold, but it does seem that we're going to get another team fight here as the Powerball does not find any likely targets, and Yuumi, of course, does not appear on time. We'll walk right into the Nautilus CC, and Team How You Like Dat just run away with this bot lane team fight. They will move.
The Powerball went off a little too early. Silas is passing down, but Rammus was there before any of her teammates were.
Right, it did seem to be a bit of a miscommunication there from Team Guts, as we saw the engage coming in at different times. The Rammus going in a little bit early, it seems, with the Yuumi farther behind and the Silas flank not quite
it looks
there.
Like it's gonna cost them the dragon there.
Yeah, it does seem that way. So dragons now at 1 apiece and about a 3,000 gold lead for Team How You Like Dat. So where do you think this game is heading at this point in the game? I know it's hard to tell, but there's a lot of team fighting. What do you make of these initial fights?
With my very lack of expertise, there's been a lot of team fighting down bot side, and I think we're gonna have to see and wait and see for more critical team fights in this game. Looks like top lane both are still sitting at 2 kills each.
Right. Although that team fight did look bad for Team Guts, that we have seen that they've been able to look for those smart engages, the teleport map plays. So I don't think we should count them out off of that one team fight. I think that would be unfair to them for sure. Though the gold leads are amounting, especially in this bot lane and in the top lane, and
Definitely.
it will be up to them to bring this game into a more salvageable position. We see a 2v2 here with the counter gank and a beautiful snare into final spark onto 2 members of Team Gut, and that will turn the 2v2. A great echo counter gank there, and an even better snare to set up the turn there.
Yeah, that was a great final spark. I think it hit both of them, right?
It did. It hit both of them. And we see ultimates flying everywhere once again in the bot lane, and no kills will go either way. Man, this bot lane is... it's a hectic one. We see an Ornn teleporting behind, so we're even in for more action, but the Twisting Cyclone will interrupt that. Oh boy. This is bad news if you're Team Gut, because now you're getting dove under what was your secondary tower, but now just one tower is how you like to knock down the first.
That was a great interrupt by GM Tony there. That fight really could have gone the other direction if Ornn had gotten that TP off.
Right, if the Ornn shows up and drops the call of the Forge God, we would have had a completely different result. So now 4 of the 5 members from Team How You Like Dat have established bounties as their gold lead in this game starts to snowball a little bit. We're now approaching a 5,000 gold lead, despite only having about a 5 kill lead, with CS leads almost across the board, and just strong team fighting throughout the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've seen really great rotation by Echo and being in the right place at the right time. Always being there for counter ganks when Rammus powerballs in.
Right. There have been quite a few pivotal moments. Even when something doesn't happen, we've seen that the Echo uh, makes wise choices as far as shadowing and protecting against dives goes. So strong play here from Hensoku, and this Echo pick is really proving itself to be quite useful.
It looks like the Yumi has attached herself to Silas as Jin farms it out bot lane.
Right. The Silas, of course, is still a major threat in this game, and will even be a stronger threat with the Yumi. Uh, it's it definitely. I think that the Silas is definitely the most favorable target for the Yumi attachment, so it's no surprise there. As we see engages flying everywhere, the final spark and the Nautilus ult will connect and burst down Team Gut before they even have a chance to fight back.
All right, that was a great root and ult by the Lux here.
One thing to note here is that we again have a Cloud Drake, but just as I say that, we have another 2v2 going in the top lane. And this one will go the way of Team Gut, but it will cost them heavily in the mid tower as Team How You Like That looks to knock this one down as the enemy mid laner picks up that kill in the top lane. And perhaps more crucially, this sets up a faster rotation for the picking up this Cloud Drake as red team moves all the way from the top side of the map to try to pressure and get control of this jungle quadrant. It doesn't appear that they will let up so soon, but blue team has already staked their position, and being the stronger team looks to burn this down before Team Gut can answer. The curtain call coming from the red side jungle as the Rammus tries to find his way in, but I think he did not find what he was looking for, to say the least, and will fall. We have a teleport coming in from the Wukong here to clean up the last of this fight, and this just seems to be disastrous for Team Gut, as it will end in a 5-for-1 and a lost Cloud Drake. Great team fight from How You Like That.
Looks like a little bit of miscommunication on red team's end where the Rammus is looking to go in and her team is backing off a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like the Rammus was desperately asking to get into the Dragon Pit and just took an anchor to the face instead. And I think How You Like That was looking exactly for that. I don't think they could have wanted more. We see them moving to the top side of the jungle here, clearing the red buff, clearing other camps as Vulpes finds 3 members in a bush and will die before they can even get any wards off. With Baron on the table and all of these camps going the way of Team How You Like That, this gold lead has grown to over 8,000 and has put How You Like That into a position to take this game pretty quickly.
The Yumi bush check really reminds me of, myself. I tend to walk into bushes without wards. Quite an unfortunate face check.
It is. Oh, and the Rammus picking up the one small raptor. How sad. And he's yet to see that he has no top lane camps. No red buff. Checking the Baron. There's no Krugs up there either. We see the Nautilus looking for the Gromp here. Why not? It's a tasty frog.
Clearing the jungle.
Right. And that, oh boy. The final spark almost one-shotting the cat there.
Well, it looks like their blue buff is still up. It's nice to see red team's jungle still slightly intact.
Right. I think there's still hope here if you are Team Guts. You have a lot of gold on the Silas, who is, I would suspect, to be the captain of the team here. A lot of faith being put in Lance. And, I wouldn't put it past him to find the picks necessary to turn a team fight. We see the 2v1 here, the Silas stealing the Echo ultimate and combos that into Azania's Hourglass to try to buy time for his teammates. But another Q and a final spark just evaporates Team Gut we've seen these Lux binding into Final Sparks time and time again, and every time they're just completely winning the fight. Another snare onto the Ornn will likely find another kill.
Yeah, the QR combo from the Lux is really, really, taking a piece of the pie from red team's health.
Right.
Not quite giving her the kills, but doing the job enough for her teammates to finish it.
Yeah, I think if you're the Lux here, I think you are unhappy with not having those kills.
If I
For
were the Lux, I would
yeah,
be raging at the KSs.
you're like, man, with all these snares and all these ultimates I'm hitting, and I only have 1 kill. I know that I would be upset. Hensoku here seemed to have found himself in melee distance of a Rammus, but with that ultimate, does not seem too concerned. The Silas steals away the Nautilus ultimate, and again, another final spark just wipes out the backline.
I think I'm gonna have to ask Lux for some tips.
Right, they're putting on a clinic right now. And this will likely spell the end of the game for Team Gut. We just have to see this final push. At the very least, we'll see 2 inhibitors fall. We'll have to see if they decide to make the end call, and it does appear that way. It did seem that this game was... we were saying earlier that this game was in a pretty even state around the 5 to 10 minute mark. But those team fight losses came one after another, and before they knew it, I think Team Gut just found themselves too far behind to find those team fight victories.
Yeah, I think this game was a lot faster than our other games, but it looks like, Team How You Like That did a really good job of playing around bot lane and always being there for the counter ganks.
Right. A really
I think
strong...
Lance,
I think it's just a really strong showing from Team How You Like That. Across the board, I mean, if you look at the ending tab list here, almost all of their members have, high kill participation, a lot of bounties. They're up in CS, and it's a lot to be proud of there.
definitely. I'm personally quite proud of Jeff's Ezreal, knowing that's not his main, but doing a great job against Chris Gut down in bot lane.
Right. Right. It was a strong showing from the bot lane. There were some hiccups there in the 5 to 10 minute mark, but they were able to really punish that flashless Jhin and take the advantage that they needed to secure those drakes and to eventually secure the game. So that should about do it for us here. This has been our first week of the solo duo tournament. Being a round robin, we have plenty of matches to come, so stick around for those later in the week and into the weekend. Thanks everybody for watching.